Hello everybody, thank you for coming to this week's video blog. Thanks for coming. We have great vlogs for you. You know that. We love you. We want you to be the best realtor you can be. But today what we're going to do is this. We're going to continue the series that we have. We discussed this, I want to say a couple of weeks ago, on our series on encumbrances, all right? Now today's topic is going to be another type of encumbrance, but I want to remind you what an encumbrance is. Now remember what encumbrance is. My definition of encumbrance is what? Right, baggage, right? You got to carry baggage. You want this property, you got to live in it, you got to carry some baggage, right? We talked about that, the baggage. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and see that video. It's a great one. But the baggage we're going to talk about today that goes with the property is deed restrictions. Got it? Deed restrictions, deed restrictions, deed restrictions. Now, in itself, that word itself, restrictions, doesn't that sound horrible to you? Somebody's going to restrict you from doing something? That's almost like, what? You mean I got to live in this house and I can't do what I want with it? Hold on a minute. Pump the brakes. Let's back up a little bit. Ready? The year was 1993. My wife and I go out hunting for our first house, right? We're just newlyweds. We're going to go buy our first house. Fantastic. We go, we find our new house. It's a big 2-story house. We're like, mother of mercy, I can't believe we're going to own this huge thing, right? First thing we do, of course, is what? We paint the outside, right? You start getting a little creative, right? You get a little creative. So we paint the outside border this really pretty hunter green, right? We do what we want with the darn thing. We put a third driveway into our driveway going up into the garage. Beautiful. Nobody can tell me what to do with my house. Now, why is that? Why can't they tell me what to do with my house? I'll tell you why, because this house, to me, is what we call, ready, wait for it, it's what we call a freehold estate. It's my estate, I hold it freely, it's my freehold estate, I'll do what I want with it. If I want to paint it purple, I'll paint it purple, but we didn't. So anyways, freehold estate. There's some houses that people buy or purchase that have deed restrictions. You see, ours didn't have any deed restrictions. Some properties that are out there that buyers have no idea that these properties have deed restrictions, which means they're restricted on what they do with these houses. They can't paint them anytime they want to paint them. They can't paint them any color that they want to paint them. They're restricted to the type of colors, yada, 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 to do with these houses. You can't just go on and improve this house if the house has a deed restriction. Let's get a little specific here. First of all, why would a property have deed restrictions to begin with? Most of the time, the deed restrictions are with houses that are, for example, in a private community, right? In a gated community. And in this gated community, they want all the houses to seem rather similar. They don't want any house that says, hey, look at me, right? They want to make sure all the houses are somewhat similar, nothing too outlandish. So they have what we call deed restrictions, right? In a sense, it's CC&Rs, which stands for conditions, covenants, and restrictions. So they got these in place, and they say, hey, whoever buys a house in this gated community, beware. We don't want your house painted this color. Your house has to be painted this color. If you decide to change it one day, you can't have a certain amount of trees in the front. Better yet, we don't want you to have so many cars in the front yard. Huh? How do you like that one? Well, yeah, because it becomes an eyesore. You got all these junky cars in the front. Deed restrictions are there for the benefit of the community, right? It's a good thing. But this is the deal. Ready? Here comes the lesson. You're going to be representing, if you're going to become a realtor, you're going to be representing buyers. Some of your buyers are going to fall in love with houses. They're going to say, oh my God, look, honey, we got to buy this house, honey. Oh my God, it's the best house I've ever seen, honey. And this house has deed restrictions, and they don't know it. So it'd be best for you as a realtor or them as a buyer to research and make sure this house doesn't have any deed restrictions. Because if they want to do something substantial to this house and they buy it and then they realize, oh, mother of mercy, we can't make any changes, honey. I think we bought a house that has deed restrictions. Well, then we have a problem, you see. Now the question then is, well, how do we find out if a house has a deed restriction? Ready? There's a couple of ways. One, do a title search. Do a title search, do a title search. Now you as a realtor, you have access to this stuff. Are you kidding me? The title company should be your right-hand person. The title company is your right-hand person. They'll help you out substantially. The second way of doing it, of course, would be if you go down to your local county clerk's office. The county clerk's office will have what we call an abstract, a deed abstract. And on that deed abstract, it'll actually have all the deed restrictions that pertain to this property, man. And if there's something there you saw with your own eyes, you say, here it is in black and white, we can't do this. Then you might have second thoughts on buying that property. You with me? Deed restrictions, baggage. Hope you learned something about that today. Not a bad thing if you want to go that way, but to each his own, all right? As a realtor, do your research and protect your buyer when? Yeah, at all times. Got it? Good. Hey, listen, thanks for coming today. Hope you learned something about this additional baggage, deed restrictions in our series of encumbrances. Hope to see you next week. If you have comments or questions, what are you waiting for, huh? Leave them down below. Have a great day.